Welcome back, guys. It's Chris, aka Rice Krispie here, back at it at 50 Days of Sketching. It is past midnight. It is quarter to 1 a.m. We're on day 22, catching a flight, and yeah, you can follow the challenge down below. It is a Google Doc with all the rules and descriptions and all the prompts. So this prompt is catching a flight. It's one of the more abstract prompts that there's a story to this one, actually. Some of the prompts I looked at from other people, they just kind of I just didn't want to draw them, to be honest. But let me tell you this story. So what I'm drawing here is basically a flight attendant saying, you are at the wrong terminal, but the correct gate. And a terminal is just a big building that holds the gates for anyone that hasn't flown before. It's an organization tool. And man, that happened to me. The first time I ever flew was to go out of the country. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's right. When I erased with that.
That's a bad eraser.
that is a bad eraser, Chris.
Yeah, it's a stiff eraser.
Yeah, that is a pretty bad eraser. I forgot that happened. That's why you have a separate eraser from the pencil eraser, because you never know what the quality is of erasing it. Anyways, so I was at the wrong terminal but the correct gate, and first time I ever flew outside of the country, and this is the first time I ever flew ever. So I was kind of scared. I went from America. I went to go visit my ex-girlfriend in Germany, and she's a lovely lady, and sometimes things don't work out, but let's carry on with the story. So as I am leaving to go to London, the big center of Europe, that's where I was, to board to Germany. They had these huge terminals. This is the biggest terminal I've ever seen. It was like its own city. And I think I had 4, maybe 6 hours of layover time to wait to navigate where I need to go. And I swear I was at the right gate, which I was. I looked at my paperwork, and it was the correct gate. But I just never saw my flight show up on the screen. It was like, huh? I was supposed to see London to Luxembourg, Germany, but I never saw it, and I was freaking out, dude. I was like, this isn't making any sense. I walked around, I went to the bathroom, I paced around, and like, nothing's making sense. So I walked to the help desk, and I tried to ask the flight attendants there, or whoever the service people there, but there was a language barrier. Ironically, you think you're in London, so you would imagine almost every single worker there, their first language would be English, or they're very fluent in English, because it's London, it's Europe, and that's where English is. It's just like America and London. Most common spoken language is English. However, the flight service desk people, they were Indian, and there was a huge language barrier. I had to ask over 10 people for help. Maybe they knew what I was saying, but they couldn't translate it back into English to me. And as time was ticking, I was asking around and around. It was like this wild goose chase, and I had maybe 2 hours left to board. And when you're on a flight, 2 hours may seem like a long time, but if you're in the wrong terminal, that will take even longer time. You can't make it on foot. I had to take a trolley, and eventually I found someone to help. Her English was very good, and she told me that. She said, "This is the wrong building. You have to take a trolley. There's a line over there. You should be just in time to get there." And I didn't want to miss my flight. I didn't want to be stranded in London. I didn't want to be stranded in London. An American citizen misses his flight, and knowing that the majority of the employees there don't understand English to my degree of knowledge, and I wish I could speak the native tongue of Indian. So that that there would be no language barrier, but no, I don't know that language, so thankfully that lady helped me out so much. I was on crunch time, man. It took nearly an hour to get there and 30 minutes of walking to get to the gate. That's how big it was. In London, that's a huge airport. It's like its own city. It is incredibly huge and very overpriced, man. Anytime you fly, food and drinks are extremely expensive. And I had some emergency cash just in case, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna rough it out. And here's the other thing I didn't know about going outside the country. Here in America, almost every public spot near the restrooms has a water fountain that you can drink from, and that's just common here. That is to be expected. If you need to drink some water and you're thirsty, you just go to the bathroom. There you go, a water fountain. And that's not a common thing outside of America. So I was thirsty. I was like, man, ooh, I'm all this walking around, and I had to walk almost an hour just to get to the right gate after that hour trolley. And I didn't want to pay the money for some water, but I had to. I was freaking out, man. I think it was over $10. I had to exchange it for pounds, but it was a lot, man. It wasn't even that much water. It was just a regular 16 ounce or 500 milliliters, and I was like, well, I either dehydrate and wait till I board on the plane till the flight attendant gives me more water, or I just pay the money now and hope for the best. So I paid it. I swear, I must have walked 6 miles just throughout the whole trip, between the layovers, going between the different terminals and gates. It was quite an experience. I was very scared. I was alone too. But I made it. It was an eye-opening experience, and I don't recommend that to be your first time traveling or flying ever. Maybe fly within your country first with someone, and then fly with someone who has traveled internationally. Don't do it alone. It can be quite intimidating. But the guy I drew here, he was in a pickle. It's kind of hard to see just in the pencil, but as I'm inking it, she is saying, "I'm sorry, sir. This is the right gate, but wrong terminal. You have to take a trolley about 20 minutes to get there." And the guy's just like, "But I only got 5 minutes." Thankfully, I wasn't that guy. I could have been that guy. I was very close to being that guy. I don't know what would happen if I missed my flight. I don't want to think about it. It'd probably be, you would probably be rescheduled or something, because there's like legalities of visas, and you're a foreigner, so you can't stay. There's not citizenship. There's got to be some way, somehow they would rebook your flight or whatever. I'm not an air marshal, or I'm just a dude that draws. That's outside my pay grade. Yeah, this sketch hits pretty close to home. I was in these shoes, and boy was I sweating. also my phone didn't work because I didn't have a SIM card for Europe, so I couldn't call my family. Although I did have internet, so I could have used Facebook to message them. But that would have been a very scary text to my parents, like, "Hey, I'm stranded here in London. I missed my flight." They can't do anything. They can't drive and anything. I'm SOL. Yeah, that is looking like the end of the sketch. Oh, look, I'm hitting it with some color. Just like I said in the last episode, I'm just gonna keep it real simple. Maybe 1 or 2 colors, just because the sake of time. It looks nice. A touch of color does go a long way, but it's not going to be as elaborate as the past ones because I do want to save some time. And like I said, it is almost 1 a.m. right now as I'm recording this, so I'm going to work on another comic after this, the December one, and depending on time, I might have to slow the production down on the 50 days of sketching. But yeah, that is the end of the sketch, and 11 minutes 14 seconds. That's not too bad. You guys have a lovely night, a lovely day, or a lovely noon, and I'm gonna be out. I'll see you soon.